Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Tony King. I'm a photographer, and if you know anything about me, I've always said I'm a digital photographer. Most of what I talk about on this channel is about digital photography or about photography in general, but from the perspective of someone who primarily shoots, if not almost exclusively now, you've read the title of the video, digital photography. For my birthday this year, my wife got me a Minolta SRT 102 film camera, and she chose this camera because I already had a bunch of Minolta lenses which I adapt to my Micro Four Thirds system. So I have a couple lenses that I can already use on this camera. Super cool. It's not like in mint condition, but it works and it takes some pretty cool pictures. So going from shooting digital, I had a lot to learn, so it took definitely a little bit to figure out exactly how everything works. But I love the tactile nature of, winding up the gears and the sound it makes and how physical it feels. It's a little frustrating to not get to see your photos right away, of course, but I got to be patient. Took some time to learn how to use the light meter and all that, but I've got some images that I want to talk about. I picked 8 from my first 2 rolls of film. I shot a color film roll and a black and white film roll. Let's just jump into it. This first image is from Jekyll Island Pier. I've already made a bunch of videos talking about my time on Jekyll Island, and this is the first place I brought this camera and first place I shot film. Surprisingly, this shot came out because it was only later that day that I realized I was completely misusing the light meter I have, and so everything else was pretty much overexposed to oblivion. This is actually pretty perfectly exposed, and I really like the framing I was able to get here. I like how you can see the subtle color of the umbrella on there. I was so fascinated by that, tried to get so many shots of it, and you know what? Honestly, this is probably the best one, the most subtle one, with kind of the different people kind of peppered across, perfectly level with like the bridge covering the horizon line and becoming the horizon line, with a little bit of depth here on the right with like a flag pole or whatever type of pole I was using to kind of frame this up. I like to use this in my photography, and overall it's really nice. It's a little grainy, and that's what you get from film, and it's a neat kind of textured vibe. I don't mind that kind of most of the center is empty. I kind of like it. It draws your eye to the umbrella and to the guy standing near it. I think it's a sweet image. This is on the beach. I was kind of struggling to really get things good, but I do like this image. Like the wind you can see flying through all this like tall grass, and the color quality is really nice to me. All the focus is really nice. So this is just a cool image. I don't really have that much to say about it. Next is, this is the first shot I figured out how to actually use a light meter, and you can kind of tell a jump in quality and how well focused the car is, and how kind of clean this image looks. This was like outside of some sort of fancy place, I guess, if you have this sort of car, and I was very happy with how this particular image turned out, with how I framed it and just how clean it looks. And it goes to show that I kind of sort of figured out how to use a light meter. And the last shot from that Jekyll Island trip is this car and kind of poorer area that we were kind of staying next to. And I don't know, I was really fascinated by this car. I always like seeing cars kind of in tall grass and kind of run down. I just think it's a cool image, and not cool for the car, I guess, but I thought this was kind of a urban scene of like something that I recognize. It looks like part of the South. It looks like something I'm familiar with, and so I liked getting this shot. I haven't gotten as many shots like this as I probably would have liked throughout my photography career as of yet, but places like this I really am fascinated by in a photography sense. So very happy with how this one turned out. Moving on to some black and white shots. I was very excited to see all my work in black and white. Like, half the roll totally blown out, because although I learned how to use a light meter, maybe I used it incorrectly still moving forward. So this shot, very happy with how the bokeh turned out and the focus, and part of me didn't think I could get a shot like this on film, and I could only do that on digital. I don't know why. So this kind of was proving to me that I don't need to just like constrain what I shoot. I can just shoot. I'm happy with the image, and the bokeh here is really nice. Next, I almost wish this shot was a little bit better. Almost, well, I do wish, kind of, because the guy was kind of standing like more perfectly in the middle, and kind of putting out a cigarette right as I walked up, and he just walked away right as I pulled, like, winded the thing to take the picture. Still, I think it's a really cool shot. A lot of depth and layer to it. I'm shooting through like a bus stop. As you can see, there's like a reflection of telephone poles at one part. It, almost looks double exposed. It's not. It is just shooting through glass, and there's a bit of action here. I kind of wish the car in the background wasn't there. I think it kind of dates the image in a way that otherwise it wouldn't be as dateable. Super cool image. This is probably my favorite one. Yeah, it's probably my favorite one. Next, I brought it to a photo walk at a cemetery to kind of finish the roll that I was working on. I like the depth in this image quite a bit and how everything is in focus, and it was an overcast day, so the sky is just going to be blank anyway. But there's a lot of scale here and a lot of texture, which is really nice in the shadows and kind of the darker parts of the image. This is it has a very vintage feel, and that's what you're trying to get, I guess, with film, and with black and white even more. So just a really cool vibe here. Kind of wish there was maybe somebody walking through one of these little kind of roads. That could have been cool. It's still a cool image though. This is probably my second favorite. The shadow underneath this tree is just beautiful, if you ask me. And I wasn't straight on to like any of the rows of like the gravestones, and that's done very intentionally. I don't want to just be too perfect. I like this little angle that I've got going, and this standalone tree. It's kind of weird placement, but that just makes the image better. It's kind of splitting these rows. It's just off center in the image, and the shadow is just really nice here. Focus is great too. And that is the last image I want to talk about from my first 2 rolls of film. I mean, to even be able to choose 8, like, these are not all the strongest images I've ever taken, obviously. There's only like 2 or 3 that I'm like, oh yeah, those are good images. But some of the other ones are like still good shots, and I'm glad that I was able to get them on film, not completely waste the money that it takes to develop and everything. So very cool experience going from digital to film, much more tactile, much more like slow and intentional sometimes. And I'm sure I'll get faster at it the more I practice. That's my experience as a digital photographer going to film. It's cool. It's fun. Still primarily shooting digital. It's easier. I like my results fast, and I like being able to take a bunch and make a bunch of mistakes. But to bring a camera like this along every now and again to get something a little bit more unique and different and kind of more of a thinker, I think it's super cool and well worth it. So I'm going to keep shooting film, and maybe give it a year. I'll do an update to digital photographer shoot film for a year. Here's what he learned. I don't know. I just named the video. I don't really know what I'm saying here about it, but fun experience. Thanks to my wife for getting me the camera. If you enjoyed this video or want to know my thoughts on digital photography, like, just check out any other one of my videos, basically. Subscribe to my channel for more content and more film stuff, more digital stuff, all sorts of photography things. I've been Tony King. I'm a photographer. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time.